Hey, and welcome to the Crusty client type series. In this series, we are going to break down the clients as stylists that maybe aren't our very favorite. So we're having a little fun here by calling them Crusty. Now, listen, as stylists, we are grateful for all of our clients, okay? The crusty and the non-crusty. But here's the thing, people are people, and people aren't perfect. And every person on the planet is not just like you. So sometimes people have, different traits about them that will come, no, Neo, I'm not talking about you. Different traits that may seem like a total pain in the ass nightmare to you, but really it's just it's a psychological thing. Everybody has their stuff that they're dealing with, and it's going to come across in a way that if you don't have that, it's just going to be perceived as awful. So we can't throw away every client that comes our way that bothers us a little bit, okay? If that were the case, 90% of my students, I've thrown your asses in the trash already, okay? So we have to become better at reading and understanding people. We have to become better at seeing what's underneath people's bullshit, seeing what's underneath people's style or lack of style, what's underneath all of their hangups. The second you become banging at that, your job becomes so much more fun, and you are more open to having a variety of clients. Now, of course, we all have, those of you who are my bosses, we still stick to our ICA, but within our ICA, there's different degrees of personality, okay? So you can have the perfect client that checks all of the boxes, but they can still be a pain in your ass. And it's because of these things underneath that I'm going to teach you how to deal with and identify in this series, okay? So we're doing this every day this week, Monday through Friday, right here on IG Live. The recordings will be put on my YouTube channel if you have to bounce and can't see the whole thing. Replays will also be saved on Instagram. So a new crusty client type every single day. Today's crusty client type is Picky Patty. Picky Patty. So what does a Picky Patty do as a client? Picky Patty, she be going through the rack, looking at the clothes, and she finds something to hate about all of it. She's got something to say about all of it. Now, for those of you who are watching who aren't personal stylists, because I know I have a bunch of people who are entrepreneurs, they're not stylists, but they're I vibe. Because this stuff goes across the board. You can have a Picky Patty if you're a graphic designer. You can have a Picky Patty if you're an interior designer, a life coach, whatever, a business coach. You can have Picky Patties everywhere. So in the case of a stylist, Picky Patty is going through the rack that so carefully curated. You took everything that she, had in her consultation, had in her vision board, you nailed it. And Picky Patty up in here being no. We want to punch Picky Patty in the face, but we're not going to. We love our clients. We're not going to be violent with them. So why is Picky Patty doing this shit? Picky Patty is a perfectionist. Say that 3 times fast. Picky Patty is a perfectionist. So anything that stands in the way of her not being perfect, she's going to reject, right? So here's the thing with perfection. It's a completely unrealistic standard. Completely unrealistic. Perfection does not exist. It doesn't exist in nature. It exists nowhere, okay? Nothing is perfect. So if you are striving for perfection, you're striving for some shit that can't never fucking happen, okay? But in your mind, you think that it can happen. So you are going to be so careful as to not F up and be imperfect. So a perfectionist might be someone who is like, I either do it perfect or I don't do it at all. In style, it's like I'm either dressed up, head to toe, perfect, hair and makeup, nails, perfect outfit, or I dress like trash. There's rarely any in between, okay? Things are very black and white for our perfectionist picky Patty, okay? So picky Patty, especially because she is out of her comfort zone in terms of style, right? A perfectionist who feels like they can thrive, they're going to thrive in an area which they're comfortable, right? So if Picky Patty is a really great business owner, she wants to stay in the lane of business because that is a place where she can come the closest to being perfect, or in her eyes, perfect. Now that we're taking Picky Patty out of her comfort zone into style, which she knows nothing about, which is why she hired you as a personal stylist, she is completely out of her comfort zone. Completely. She doesn't even know what perfect is, but she's damn sure gonna freaking try. So she is going to shoot down everything, and she is going to pick apart, so it makes her so picky, she's going to pick apart anything that she can. So have you ever had this experience, those of you who are watching that have clients, where, you know, a Picky Patty will go through the rack and be like, oh my gosh, I love this necklace. It's so amazing. If it were silver. And you're like, bitch, you said you liked wearing gold. It doesn't come in silver. Or she goes through and says, oh my gosh, this blazer is amazing, but the sleeves a half an inch too long. And you're like, it's fine. It's not too long. What are you talking about? They are going to pick, because they are searching for perfection that does not exist, okay? This also puts you in a position where you get to be less perfect than they are. So if you are less perfect, it means they are more perfect. So they're obviously totally shooting themselves in the foot because you are the expert in this area when it comes to style. They want to perfect style, but their perfectionist personality is making it so they have to make you suck, so they're great, but then they end up not being great in the style department. I know. Watch this one back. It's hard to wrap your mind around on the first go. So let's talk about how we deal with this, okay? We've identified who Picky Patty is. We know why she's doing it, because she's a total freaking perfectionist and she's terrified as shit to fail. So she's gonna make you and all the clothes you picked lame so she is superior, okay? So how to deal? Because at the end of the day, we want to do everything we can to have a happy client. And I know sometimes your ego wants to get in the way. Your ego wants to get in the way and be like, oh my gosh, I just want to prove that I'm right and argue with this Picky Patty and tell her, listen, you never said that you didn't like gold. You never said this. We went over this. Like, you could run her that thing, but it's not going to be productive, right? It's not going to be productive. Now, there are times when things escalate to a point, and those of you that are in SBA, especially SBA the next level, because we're going to have a whole master class on dealing with difficult clients, but in like an extreme degree. Like, they're not paying their bill. They're having tantrums. Like, I've had my fair share of crazy, okay, in the client department. So sometimes things do escalate, but when we're just in the moment of like going through the rack or trying things on and they're like, no, I wish this was this, wish this was this, we don't start proving points. We help them overcome the obstacles they create. So when you are observing the core reason why someone is doing something, and I think this is why I just naturally have this in me. For those of you who don't have it natural, this is why you learn and this is why you practice. But I just naturally am like really good at reading human beings. It's just a freakish skill, superpower that I have. So I can quickly, like a little fashion robot, I can scan and be like, oh, she's tripping because XYZ. Got it. Noted. Let's move. So as soon as you know, which you know now, she's picky because she's a perfectionist, you don't tell her that shit. You don't be like, haha, figured it out. You're a perfectionist, freak. I'm the boss. You're whack. No. You start identifying the obstacles they are creating, and you're the expert, so you have solutions. This is why just having good taste and enjoying shopping is not enough to make you a great stylist. You have to be a professional problem solver. You have to be able to read people, right? So if someone says something like, hey, this shirt would be perfect if it had a silver zipper on the sleeve instead of a gold zipper. You say, amazing. I can take that to the tailor for you and have that zipper replaced. It'll be like a $20 situation. Like, just have a solution to all her shit. Oh, I love this blazer, but it's navy blue. I wish it were black. Oh, let me pull up my phone and look on the website. Oh, look, it happens to come in black. I'll just go ahead and have this shipped directly to your house after the fitting. All of a sudden they're like, oh, oh, we've got solutions here. Oh, she keeps, shooting down my negativity and not engaging with my bullshit, right? So, of course, not every single thing in the world has like an automatic. This shirt's white, wish it was pink. Bitch, it doesn't come in pink, but also we could have it dyed. Like, let me tell you, I pretty much have like a solution to every fashion conundrum. Like, yes, I'm sure there's times where I can get stumped, right? But really, if we want to get into solutions when it comes to style, I don't like this. It doesn't come in the color. Get it dyed. I don't like this because I don't like the fabric. The fabric is synthetic. It makes me itch. I wish this were in a natural thing. Dude, I could take that garment, take it to a tailor, have them make a pattern and remake it in the fabric that you like. Like, what next? Bitch. What next? Right? Like, what next? Because if you're pulling for your client and you're actually following and asking them the right questions during a consultation, you shouldn't be making major blunders, right? Like, if someone said, I don't wear gold jewelry, and you bring all gold, that you're stupid. That's a big F up. You fucked that up, right? But anything else, like, we can come up with some shit. This is too long. We'll make it shorter. Like, come on now. This is too short. I mean, one's a little toughy, but you can let out the hem. Like, look at this here. This dress, pulling up my dress. This too short, let the hem out. Make it longer. I got a solution to all your problems, Picky Patty. And what? Okay? So we're kind of like, sparring with them. Boom. Blocked you, bitch. Right hooked you, bitch. Okay? So the other thing that you can do is set clear boundaries. Set clear boundaries. Because here's the deal with a Picky Patty. They are the first to come back with some bullshit after the fitting's done. Okay? Right? That is a lot of extra hem on that. You buy quality garments, they add a lot seam allowance and hem. A lot you can play with there. So here's the thing with a picky patty. You got to be real careful of a picky patty, because if you've done a really good job of batting down all their objections and having a solution, sometimes they will act cool in the moment because you've done tired them out, right? Like, you know when you tire out a little kid so they just shut up? Yeah, you tired out picky patty. So she's just shut up. But when she gets her strength back, when she's at home, this is when she's like, I need to return all this stuff. I don't want to keep these things. So in Style Boss Academy, I have a whole protocol for returns, right? To keep your clients from doing returns. I mean, not they can't ever return anything, but within a respectable window. It's all covered in the course. But for the point of this live and for the point of Picky Patty, sometimes we have to go above and beyond, right? In terms of re-explaining the policy or giving her certain things to do when she gets home to ensure that she's going to be solid on her decision. Because here's the thing, you never want to manipulate a client. You never want to manipulate a client, ever, 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 ever. So you don't want to gas them up and be like, oh my gosh, that looks so fly. Are you kidding me? This is fine. Let me just order all this shit to your house. You'll be fine. When deep down, they're not fine. So you want to make sure that we're not having them wake up 3 days later with all these clothes that they can't take back. And they're like, oh, that stylist totally worked me. I didn't feel comfortable. She had a solution to all my shit and I still don't feel okay. So I would have the client go home. I would do this all the time, even if I didn't have a picky patty. It just ended up being protocol. But being hey, do me a favor, go home tonight, retry on all the clothes. If you have any questions about the outfits, feel free to shoot me an email, send me images, anything we can work through, because I want you to be 100% happy with the clothing before it's no take backs, right? So yes, there is an opportunity for them to be I changed my mind. Sorry, I'm desperately trying not to cough here. I've got a piece of lint in my throat. Piece of Kenzo hair in my throat. Of course, we don't want them to decide that they're picky about everything and ruin the whole fitting and make us have to return everything to the store. But it's better to have a happy client than to make yourself happy in the short term. Sorry, I'm not crying if you're just tuning in. I'm just trying not to cough. So we just want to give those opportunities to make them happy, because a big thing with clients, especially someone who is really hung up on perfectionism, is trust over everything. I have had clients in the past. What is going on, Messiah? I've had clients in the past where we will have early fittings where they're not really buying a ton of stuff. And they're really going to need to be baby stepped in to trusting me with their look and with their style. There's obviously enough trust there to have them hire me, to have them hire me again, but we kind of have to ease into the heck? We have to ease into the relationship of getting a lot of stuff. So maybe if I stop talking for a second, I can gather myself. So let's recap very quickly before I tell you the other crusty types that we'll be getting to later in the week, okay? So let it out. The worst part is holding back a tickle in your throat. It so is, ever since pandemic, and it's oh my God, if you cough or sneeze or clear your throat, everyone's you diseased freak. So I hold in coughs and then it makes me sneeze or it makes me this. And it's yo, sometimes you just gotta cough. So as a recap, Picky Patty, she's going through all your stuff. She's picking it apart. She's no, 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 no. She's doing this because she's a total perfectionist. She's afraid to fail, so she has to make you and the clothing wrong. How to deal? We overcome her obstacles and we set clear boundaries to keep her from being a return Ronette. Okay. I love making up crazy names for people. So that is what you do if you get a Picky Patty in your client roster list. Now, I do want to just mention this again. I touched on it a little bit in the beginning, but in this Crusty client type series, I want you guys to pay attention to all of these different types that we have coming up and understand that these are like personality traits or like things that are harming the person that are coming out. It's not them as a person. So this is what I see a lot of people doing, a lot of my students doing, where they'll get super clear on their ideal client avatar, their ICA. We do that in Style Boss Academy. And then they'll follow all the steps in the program. They'll start getting clients and they're like, oh, Lauren, I got this client who came my way, but I said no to her because she wasn't my ICA. I'm like, why wasn't she your ICA? Because she was told, pain in the ass, like I could feel, her energy wasn't, no. Mind you, yes, there are times where someone's going to give you real funky energy and you're just like, no. But it still can be within your ICA. You can have the client that like checks all of those boxes for you, but they struggle with perfectionism, so they're gonna act like a pain in the ass. Your ICA isn't people that aren't pains in the asses. Like that would be a dream if every business could somehow avoid people who are pains in the asses, right? You just can't, because people have different things. So when you start observing these flaws, really pay attention and watch back to this series of like, how can I navigate this? Like, how can I navigate this? Some people, yes, they're just not worth dealing with because they have to go through their own inner work to get over some of these demons that they have. But you're going to have to know how to deal with difficult people. Whether you're a personal stylist, especially if you're a celebrity stylist, geez, we want to talk about Crusty. Good golly, we got some personalities there. So you have to do this. Like, anytime I do a group coaching, I love all my group coaching students. They're amazing. And they all fit within my ideal profile of a group coaching student. But every single one of them has a different personality. And I have to learn how to navigate those personalities, especially because they're going to commingle as a group. So this is why I really study human behavior, because it makes me a better leader. It makes me a better stylist. If this is work that you guys aren't willing to do, I don't know, you got to find a different job. And some people think, oh, I could just skip this because I could sell like online products and things. Dude, all my stuff is online and you still get these personalities. Whether it's like you're Zooming with them, they're sending an email, they're typing stuff in your, private Facebook group, all of these crusty characteristics will come out and you have to understand how to deal with them, okay? So here's what we have coming up for the rest of the week. Remember, every day this week I will be going live at 9:30 a.m. Pacific time. Set your reminder. This is like not just a Lauren bullshitting on live. We are learning actionable things. These will be saved. These will also be on YouTube. So tomorrow we're going to talk about difficult Denise. Difficult Denise, who is she's argumentative. She challenges things. Difficult Denise, she difficult, okay? Wednesday, we're going to talk about cheap Clarice, okay? Cheap Clarice, she's flipping price tags. She's asking for a discount. She's calculating up the total in her head. You can see her like wanting to put shit back. She's cheap Clarice. She's on Wednesday. Thursday, we have Do I Look Fat in This, Francine? Francine looks amazing, but she's got a lot of body image issues, and it makes it difficult for her to actually make positive moves on her style and in your fitting. She's preoccupied with the price tag. And then on Friday, we'll round things out with Know-It-All Nancy. Know-It-All Nancy thinks she's a fucking stylist, even though she hired one. She wants to show off, how vast her knowledge is. She wants to test your styling skills. I think Know-It-All Nancy probably bothers me the most out of the crusty client types. So that's what we've got going on this week. I hope you guys enjoyed today's lesson, and I will see you guys tomorrow.